be that it's going to resonate better. I'm not saying it's already working really well. The numbers, I don't want to say are anything extraordinary. We already spent roughly $30 out of 50 for the budget for the day, and it's only 9:40 right now in the morning. So I do have some questions in mind, but you can't really tell unless you give it a solid 2-3 days of spend and allocating the budgets in the campaign budget optimization campaign across the various different assets and angles to see whether or not anyone's actually going to resonate with the offer. So we're just going to have to see and just be patient in the meantime and not really try to force anything. In the meantime, I was trying to figure out, how the email agent is doing and if it's actually doing its job properly. I was looking through the inboxes and how it's currently, sending out emails, and it's not bad. I just had to refine the prompt with Claude because it kind of sounded kind of goofy, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. When you go into the, I'm just going to cover up the person's private information, but when you go into the, the email, it just kind of sometimes says this weird line like this, like contact for training for programs. Like, what's the point of that? It just sounds kind of out of pocket. And really, at the end of the day, I think here it's just it's just really my inability to refine the prompt for the agent. And I'm not saying I'm using the most powerful model or anything like that. I'm just using Minimax M2.5, and that's not bad. It's actually a really fast model. I was thinking of considering another new model that just recently came out, and they're called Mercury. Supposedly they have really fast inference because they do parallel processing for reasoning, so that's pretty interesting. And they're also quite cheap. So I wanted to try them out, but unfortunately I'm having some issues with OpenRouter trying them out. But anyway, nonetheless, kind of digressing here. I refined the prompt for Claude so it can send out better emails, and it's going to send out another batch of 10 emails in about 10 minutes. So we'll see whether or not that's going to be better. In the meantime, the focus for the week moving forward, as I was kind of setting my intention, what I'm going to do this week is really just focusing on the one thing. And the one thing is really just nailing the messaging and the content fit. So then when someone does actually engage with an ad, we can kind of see that we are striking some sort of nerve or pulse from the market that they actually want this offer. And it's not just, just another random ad up. We want to strike a chord. And that, I think, is the number one thing I can do is just find the highest piece of leverage, and that is the messaging. I don't really have to change anything. The only thing I kind of have to research is how am I exactly delivering the deliverables. And it just raises a lot of questions because there's a lot of things happening in AI now. OpenClaw was hot past few weeks, and there's a new agent framework or new thing dropping almost every single day, and it's absolutely crazy and very hard to keep up with a lot of these things. So it is a bit overwhelming, but at its core, I don't think I should complicate it, just make it simple and just kind of figure out, what are people going to strike a chord with and resonate with the messaging, which is really just the marketing. And then from there, just find the best way to deliver the deliverable, because at the end of the day, under the hood, I'm not really doing anything different. It's still doing the same thing, which is basically selling the destination of what the person wants, and then from there, just delivering them the service so they can have their problem solved, and that's it. Whether it's with a personal AI agent, a executive AI agent, whether it's with some sort of workflow, whether it's with something else, it doesn't matter. It's all pretty much doing the same thing. Yo, you will not believe this shit. Alright, I gave my bot, my daytime bot, when it can do shit, find things to do, tasks, goals, whatever throughout the day, so it can pretty much just be productive, right? And I'm always kind of fine-tuning it, calibrating it, getting a feel for whether or not it makes sense to do this thing and do these tasks throughout the day so it's just working, or if I should just pause it. And it just blew my fucking mind. So let me show you this. Let me just put it on the stand, and then I'll share what's going on the screen because I'm super excited. This is crazy. I hear everyone talking about, let me get these earbuds out. I don't know why my earbuds are in, but I hear everyone talking about having a mission control or some sort of primary dashboard where you can kind of see everything the AI is doing, right? So I was like, okay, research, go online, find some transcripts, get the transcripts, put the transcripts inside of a deliverables folder so you can kind of see what YouTubers are saying, how people are doing this thing with OpenClaw. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, whatever. And I'm just thinking, all right, well, why don't I get my own, actually see what the fuck it's about, So I gave the bot two things. So I have multiple fine grained tokens from GitHub, so it can push repos, it saves. And by the way, big tip, if you don't have your bot throughout the day scheduling just GitHub commits and pushes, that's a flag, because this thing literally yesterday wiped out my whole entire workspace because it thought it should replace and overwrite everything inside my workspace with some code. I got pissed off, but thankfully I had everything backed up inside a GitHub repository for the bot itself. So just a pro tip. But what I wanted to mention is I gave the bot a token and I gave the bot access to Vercel so it can publish its own projects and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it can also push code, if anything, to like separate branches that I gave it permission to work on. So I told it to research everything about mission control, the whole thing that's popping right nowadays, and you know, the best practices, so we can kind of get a sense and feel for what it can do for us, or just like, you know, my workflow and everything. And I'm just experimenting, you know what I mean? I'm just very curious to see like how it's like gonna be productive and do things. So, you know, it had the task. I unblocked it with the keys and stuff like that. It just completed a cycle literally a few minutes ago, and it took like roughly 8 minutes to code all this shit up. So let me show you guys. This is actually pretty cool. All right, ready? So here, yo, I'm telling you, this thing just cooked. Wait, let me just make sure everything's focused. Okay, so it created literally this whole entire dashboard. Of like the main thing, task dashboard, like all the tasks happening. Wait, oh, this is like a Trello board. This is crazy. I didn't even know you could do that. So it created basically the whole Trello board here. And let's actually see. Let's review newsletter drafts. All right, so unfortunately I can't click these. You know, I'm still like exploring and experimenting with this like in real time. So I don't even, you know all the things to do. So as you can see here are all of our cron jobs. It created a freaking calendar. This is interesting. Created a calendar for for the cron jobs. I guess it's still like iterating on it, which is pretty interesting. But as you can see here, it has like these like settings for like when is it being sent out. It's interesting. It's got like a calendar here, memory, daily operation logs, and history. So all right, this is not true because it's not pulling everything. And then documents, I wonder what this is. Thumbnail ideas, can't even click it. But I mean, this is interesting. It's something team. So you know, it's got the goal here. It's got all these agents. We got image generation agent. I didn't even know we have an image generation agent. That's interesting. Research agent. That's interesting. So, okay, so that's interesting. Projects. I guess we have like these sorts of like projects and like progress of what it's doing. So there's this guy, Alex Finn, you know, shout out to Alex Finn, who talks about like this whole mission control concept. So supposedly this task is still in project. It's creating a lead magnet. Supposedly, you know, we're blocked by that, I guess, because it's giving like the statuses here. Newsletter automation. It's ready for review. What is this? Client delivery workflow. Some sort of standardized process. YouTube content pipeline. Honestly, I'm not like refining this. I'm just like kind of letting it do its thing and just, you know, do its tasks just to see whether or not it's going to do anything. So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, this is interesting. The office, what the hell? OpenClaw headquarters. So I guess these are all of our agents. That's kind of funny. Recent activity. I guess this is our office, guys. This is our office, by the way. I wonder where I'm at. Visual agent headquarters. This is actually pretty funny. A visual agent headquarters. Guys, my bot created a agent office. So these are the little cubicles, you know, they got their little spaces, they just chilling. Well, how cool is that? I did not see that coming. Honestly, I didn't even like look at the research of what the bot did because I wanted it to surprise me. And that's the one thing about these agents, when you just let them do their own things, they're just gonna like surprise you in very unique ways. And that's the one thing I really like about AI and agents. Sometimes they just think of unique concepts and novel ideas, or maybe people are just like finding things online and then they can spot things between the lines to like innovate and pretty much reframe for your own unique space or just like context or whatever. So that was really cool, and yeah, that just kind of blew my mind. Crazy. Decided that I should fix up the filler content on the pages here because, you know, it's like a resume sort of. Someone comes on the pages and there's literally just nothing there. And I'm just thinking, okay. When I first started the offer, there was nothing there. And it just looked kind of dry and it sucked. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, what kind of format can I potentially go, copy, and then put into my own? So at least when someone clicks an ad and goes on the page, and who knows, these posts could go viral. That could also bring in some lead traffic. I can at least have a clean page. You know what I mean? That's pretty important in itself. You know what I mean? So I was looking on Instagram and I found basically posts kind of like this, where they are. Wait, let me see if I can. Can you focus here for me, please? I basically found posts like this where you can pretty much. Interesting. Well, pretty much in short, what they are is just posts on how people are, you know, doing all this stuff. It's just like one of those like value posts in AI. I know it's kind of hard to see, my bad about that. But it's just these value posts. Okay, there we go, we're focused. These value posts on how to set up AI, what people are doing, best AI systems. They seem to be getting a lot of engagement. And I was like, okay, I will pretty much go and find someone to model, and I found someone, you know, some interesting posts. I pretty much went into Claude and then I told Claude, hey, can you pretty much copy something like this? And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm probably going to use something like Grok or maybe something like Gemini to generate the images. But then I was like, wait a minute, you know, we're at a point where pretty much these tools can literally do it itself. Claude Code, or just Claude in general, just released this new capability called Skills. I think like Skills V2 or something like that. So now you can like really modify the skills, and then you can start adding connectors. I'm starting to see people even like set up their own OpenClaw inside of Claude. And that's interesting, you know what I mean? It's an interesting case. Can you actually run your whole entire life now with just Claude and Claude Code? I'm considering that because it's a way better model than like Minimax, because sometimes it fucks up and does some dumb shit. So I prompted Claude and it pretty much created exactly what I am looking for. So I will show you one value post right here. So check this out. Created this value post like this. 3 signs your business is bleeding, blah, blah. And all I literally did was just give it the format. I save it into my computer, airdrop it, and then I cross post to Instagram and TikTok. So also like a little lead magnet at the end, what we do. Because I see a lot of these pages, they have like the automation where if you comment, you will get some sort of freebie or some sort of reward or something like that. So copying it, airdropping it, cross-posting it, also creating me the captions here. Basically created a simple prompt to like, this is actually the original post I found for inspiration. And then I pretty much like just told them like, hey, this is how they're structuring it. Can you create something simple? Gave it a prompt, whatever. And it pretty much created me multiple pieces like that. Another one it created was, let's see, something like this, so you can kind of see what it's doing. Just give it just a sec, it's gonna load up. Basically created something like this, right? Very similar. Now if I really want to take this to the next level, I can automate this. I'm just kind of thinking, damn, I can actually kind of automate this, maybe either give it to my bot to post, or maybe even figure out how I can hook up Claude and give it some sort of image generation capability, and from there just, you know, have everything ready. So by the time it's done doing its thing, it's way better, you know what I mean? Because some of these people on Instagram or like whatever, they have like these really nice photos, you know what I mean? Especially to like screenshots of like things happening. So I don't think we have to get that fancy right away. I think in the beginning it's just good enough just to, because the whole goal was just to fill the page so there's content there. And right now there really wasn't anything, and it looked kind of quite bad. So the Instagram now, it looks way better. It looks pretty much, we have these value posts right here, put some like funk music, and you know, you can just see here we posted whatever, and then over time we're gonna have more posts populate. I have 2 more posts coming out, so we're gonna see how that goes. But as you can see here, before it was just like these generated AI images, which I know 100% they suck, and I wasn't really intending to get a result out of it, but I'd rather have something there than nothing if I'm advertising, if that makes any sense. Also, another interesting thing that happened earlier, I got on a sales call with someone, and I was wondering, why the heck is this guy getting a sales call or getting on a sales call with me if he's running an AI automation agency and he's trying to create AI voice agents with like VAPI or whatever you call them. And I'm just thinking, okay, this guy's probably not going to be a client or whatever. So I get on a call with him, and we're talking, and he's nearby, he's local, and he saw my ad. He was kind of curious about what I'm doing, and surprisingly, I was like, yeah, I don't know if this guy's gonna be a client, but I told him my situation, what I'm doing, my skill, my background, all that. And he was actually very interested in more so of like, I guess you can say, a micro mentorship or like a learning thing where he pays me a recurring every single month just for access to me to text. He can shadow me once a week, maybe we meet up or do like some sort of like online like walkthroughs of, hey, like this is how I'm building it, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm building agents, this is how I'm using these tools, this is how I'm thinking about things. So you know what, I might even put him on a recurring, something simple. And I told him, I was like, hey, I don't have any guaranteed deliverable or outcome I can give you, but I can let you shadow me. I can show you how I'm doing things and how I'm thinking through things, how I'm building it, showing you my operations, showing you how I'm like building, working with Cloud Code and these agents and everything. And he was super interested. He actually just signed up for someone else, and surprisingly, they're just kind of building everything on the fly, and they don't really have all the assets. So he is a bit upset about that, but he said he's going to be in contact with me, and I think he's going to come back. He sounded very cool. He's very interested in learning AI and things like that. So shout out to him. He sounded really cool, like he's very interested in AI, and I'd be more than happy to help. So even if that guy comes through and the pivot might be towards just like teaching the guy, that'd be really cool too. We don't know, we're like learning in real time, and it sounded like he just sees the ROI and the value of understanding what it's like to be technically capable as someone leveraging AI, especially in the modern era. Super excited about that. That's super cool. Guy was super cool. Looking forward to talk to him again. But yeah, that's kind of the update. So I'm pretty hyped about that. That was pretty cool. And yeah, we're gonna see what I think through with these posts. I'm not really too sure whether or not I'm gonna go forward with it or not, in terms of like fully automating it, but I might, I might, because it's a content engine, it's free eyeballs, and people can come in, and who knows, if it does become an angle where this becomes more so of like a education based product market fit thing I discover for the product, then who knows, I'm just gonna have to lean into it. Remember, I'm not trying to out here force demand onto a product or thing that I think is the best for the market, but more so figuring out where the market is pulling me, go in that direction, and 10x lock in 10x on it, and that's really the goal with product market fit. I'm trying to channel demand. I'm trying to be basically the mediator between like, okay, here's what I am and what I can offer, and what the market wants over here, and just being the most valuable person in the market with my technical abilities, knowledge, things like that, and just giving people some sort of like end outcome or result that they find value enough in and then they're willing to pay for. So yeah, I just hooked up Claude to replicate through their MCP server, and I gave them my access token, and I was just trying to see, because before we were coding it, and it was just pretty much generating a sort of file where I can download and then post it to the Instagram, but then I gave it access to replicate and to the latest image generation model. And I'm thinking I can probably automate this full entire content creation flow from start to finish, post it, make it extremely well, and then even just make a super narrow agent instead of my OpenClaw or wherever else I decide to integrate my content, and then just scale up the content as much as possible. And with Nano Banana 2, it costs roughly 7 cents, just for some good pieces of content. So I'll show you here what Opus was able to generate. So I'm just kind of like explaining it. It's pretty much the same thing. We just got it to use Nano Banana, but we were using, so here are some replicate predictions, some recent ones, and it just generated me 3. But check this out. These are actually like really solid. Look at that, it's really solid. The text generation nowadays is really, really good for these image models. And this is just a plain image though. we still haven't even tried anything with those really good, nice images people be doing on Instagram, where it's kind of like aesthetic. It has all the logos. It adds a lot of value. You know what I mean? So I really think we can scale this and go really hard with it. I might have to just hook up a API where it does the posting, it does the scaling, it does the creation, and then just see where it can take it from there. I think that's probably going to be something we're going to dive deep into this week, because if organic traffic can become a huge source of discovery, and then I can also build a email list on the back, and I can just sell people a bunch of things, services, startups, like other offers, whatever. So really just focusing on this week, I think is just creating a strong email list, or just at least I can have an email list entry point, and then having some sort of back end thing. And if we do at least do any sort of content creation that I can fully automate and just start posting at scale, like at mass, and I mean posting like 3, 4, 5 times a day, you know what I mean? Something at some point is going to go viral. And it's really just a matter of setting up the cron jobs so they're just getting triggered right. Because if I can do this in the chat, you can literally move this all into OpenClaw or whatever you've been using to just do this at scale. I'm pretty hype. I don't know about you, but this is something that's going to be very scalable. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think I can definitely scale this. We'll see. But yeah, that was interesting. But here is where I think I'm going to wrap it. Tomorrow, just after thinking about the direction, I have some interesting angles we can potentially keep on testing the offer with. I think we can pull off the social media automated posting. It's not like I can't do it. I mean, I can do it. But it's more so, does it make sense? And if so, can it actually drive meaningful value and discovery? Because it's just a top of the funnel kind of discovery platform, whether you're posting on Instagram or TikTok. And if we're getting views, if we're getting viewership, then that means more people can discover us. We can build email lists. We can do something with these emails. We can talk to people. We can upsell them. We can cross-sell them. We can down-sell them. We can do anything. You know what I mean? And we're not mainly constrained to the Sacramento area. Doesn't mean I'm not trying to serve them. It's just more so about being able to collect high quality leads, especially if the people are locally nearby. And from there, just giving them more things to sell. You know what I mean? If you're not selling people or pitching people your offer, whether it's a soft call to action, hard, then you're not going to make any money. You know what I mean? And if we can get this fully automated with like just simple carousel viral posts, then it can do pretty well. You know what I mean? So these are some things I'm going to be thinking about until tomorrow. And then we're just going to get rock and roll, and I already have like a pretty solid intention for how I want to work with the week, and we'll just take it from there.